Hello, everybody, and welcome to our series, Systems for Success with Century 21 Percy Fulton. My name is Katelyn Fulton, and today I'm excited to present to you guys winning in multiple offers when working with your buyer clients. If you are an active agent in today's market, you will know that we are facing a lot of multiple offer situations when working with our buyer clients. So we're going to try to make things easy for you and to give you some tips and tricks on how you can be successful in winning in multiple offers when representing your buyer clients. So let's get started. So, in a seller's market, which we are in today, you may wish to prepare your buyers for the possibility of locating their dream home only to find themselves in a bidding war. Whether your buyer is a client or a customer, it's fair to them and smart from a business point of view to prepare them for battle by covering all possible scenarios as they begin their search for a property under your guidance. So, before getting started into a multiple offer situation, you need to remind your buyer that 1, real estate can sell for far more than the asking price. 2, a seller can refuse a full price offer or any offer in case. And 3, in multiple offer situations, properties often sell far more than the asking price. So your buyers may simply decide that they will not enter into the multiple offer process. So you're going to want to indicate to your buyers that in a hot market, they may find that every good property is attracting more than one offer. And it's in their best interest not to rule out homes that are attracting more than one offer. Otherwise, they're going to relegate themselves to offering on only those properties that no one else wants. So point out to your buyers that even in multiple offer situations, they may be able to buy the property on terms acceptable to them. But in most cases, in multiple offers, you're going to be offering on the terms that are acceptable and in favor of the seller. So discuss with your buyers and your sellers their options when receiving multiple offers and point out to your buyers that they have choices, and these are the choices that are going to happen on multiple offer situations. So situation number 1, the seller will accept your buyer's offer. Congratulations. There's going to be situation number 2, where the seller may sign back your buyer's offer, which is called a counter offer. So your buyer can accept the sign back, ensuring that he or she has bought the property, but losing the opportunity to negotiate a better deal. In alternative, the buyer could sign back on that seller's counter offer, but the risk is that the seller may reopen the bidding to other buyers. This is a very rare case that you're going to see where the sellers are going to sign back on your offer, because if they do that and they're in multiple offers, if they sign back on yours, then they're automatically kind of closing themselves off to another better offer coming in possibly at a later time that night. So most sellers are not going to sign back your offer. So please don't be a bully and tell the seller's agent to sign back your offer, because it does not work in the best interest for the sellers, which is why a lot of sellers' agents will not sign back on your offer on an offer night unless they're willing to take that risk that they're going to lose a whole bunch of other offers. So let your clients know that they're likely not going to sign back your offer, so you need to give them the best offer forward. Situation number 3, the seller may reject all the offers together. So your buyer could choose to resubmit that same offer either later on that night or maybe even the next day, or they could submit with an improved different offer, or they can choose to withdraw from the offer process. So you will see a time where maybe the sellers listed a property, they had an offer night, and then they decided to reject all the offers altogether because they didn't hit that price that they want. So if your buyers may consider offering a higher price, this may be a good opportunity for them to resubmit their offer. But don't be surprised if the seller does reject, because as we had mentioned before, that is their right. Situation number 4. So seller may hold on to your buyer's offer and sign back another offer. Again, this is very rare, but your buyer is bound to your offer until the irrevocable period expires. So if the seller does sign back on another offer, you still are bound to that offer, and it's a risk in the seller's court, but it is an option that may happen. Now, if the seller does sign back on another offer, it's likely because that buyer has something that they want, but they don't necessarily want to reject all the other offers. So they may even change the irrevocable on signing back that offer, and it may be a very quick time. And if that buyer rejects it, then they can go back to the other offers that are on the table. So it is a risky move, but you may see it happen, and likely you will not know if they signed back on an offer because they don't want to turn your buyers off. But there could be some things. If the seller hasn't called you in a little while, they may be working on another deal with another offer. And situation number 5, the seller may hold on to your buyer's offer and reject the offers and then decide that they're going to work with yours. So your buyer can leave their offer on the table, or they could choose to submit a better offer if they're deciding to work with yours. So there could be a time where the seller may just be holding on to it, may not decide to do anything with it, and then they reject all the others. So you may have a strong offer and an opportunity to negotiate with the seller's agent. Okay, so multiple offers. Before the offer presentation or at your initial meeting, bring a blank offer with you well before signing and read the fine print to your clients. You may also be meeting with these clients maybe in the office or at their home before you guys even go out to look at houses. So definitely in this type of market, you want to talk to your buyers before they even get out there and give them the heads up that we are in a hot market and that they may be caught into a multiple offer situation. So as early as possible, you want to go over these contracts with them because they may have to make a decision quick, and you don't want to make them feel rushed to the point where they don't even know what they're signing. So definitely before an offer night, go over all the fine print with them so that when the offer night comes, they don't feel unprepared. So you're going to go over all of the blanks that you're going to be filling in, such as the price, the deposit, the irrevocable, all the different blanks that you're going to see on an agreement of purchase and sale. Go over all of the different clauses that you put into your Schedule A, as well as the clauses that are going to be put into a Schedule B, and go word by word and describe them to them. Go over all the conditions as well. So talk about all the different types of conditions that they could have, including financing, inspection, status certificates, and all the other conditions that could be possible. Talk to them about going in conditional versus a firm offer. So a lot of people may be working with first-time homebuyers, and even though we're doing this every single day and it's very obvious to us, it's not as obvious to a buyer what this means to go in conditional or firm. So let them know the pros and cons of going in with a conditional offer versus a firm offer and what works out in their benefit on an offer night. Talk about the irrevocable to them. They don't know what this means, so let them know that an irrevocable is pretty much an expiry date of your offer and how long you're giving the seller to decide on their offer. Talk about the deposit. Prepare them for a deposit as well. So not only are you going to talk about why a larger deposit is important, but you're also going to talk about the fact that they have to have a deposit within 24 hours, and sometimes it's stronger to have it in hand. So you want to know where that deposit money is coming from. If it's coming from an investment of some sort, let them know that they may want to get that money out now so that on an offer night they have it, because it could take a couple days to get that deposit out of their bank, and that may lose a deal altogether. So talk about how flexible they are in getting access to that deposit, and if they need to call their bank and try to get it released quicker. Same thing goes for if you have clients working with an online bank such as Simply, or I think Tangerine is one of them. If they're working with those online banks, sometimes it can take a couple days for them to release the funds from their bank into a bigger brand. So again, talk to your clients about this and make sure that they have access to their deposit very quickly. Talk about the closing date and why this can also be important. And give them a plain language version of the agreement of purchase and sale and review it in detail. So there is a part on the MLS system where you can run Treb, Stratus, whatever you're using. They do have plain language versions of all of the different forms that you're going to give to them. It basically has in red writing all of the details of the forms in a pretty simple language. So it doesn't look as lawyer-esque. It's got a very simple way of explaining each clause and each word. So give them that version so that they can take it home and read. And also if you need to practice what everything is as well, you should take a look at it as well. So this all together, by preparing them for what offer night may look like, it's going to help make it a smoother transaction if your buyer clients are aware of what they're going to need to do and when they are faced in a multiple offer situation. So sometimes they will need to act quick, and you're not going to have the time to properly go over these details, and it could feel very rushed, and then they may get buyer's remorse very quickly. So ensure that you're preparing them and you're educating them about the process so that they gain trust in you right away. Some top producer tips. Your buyer should be readily available on offer presentation day to respond quickly in the event that the seller signs back their offer, or if they give your clients a second chance to improve their offer. So make sure that they are available via phone, email, in person, whatever you guys are doing. Just make sure that you guys are able to act quickly so that if you need to make changes, you can do that easily. Warn your buyers that the standard practice in multiple offer situations is for the listing brokerage and the seller to conduct a blind bidding process. So basically what that means is your buyer is never going to know what the other offers are. So if your buyer was successful, they're not going to know how much more they offered than the next best bidders. So when you call the listing salesperson to tell them that you have an offer and learn that there are other offers. So letting your clients know that you don't know what the offers are, it kind of stops them from asking you those questions. Just let them know that you only know how many offers there are, but you will never know the contents of it. And that's just the unfortunate part of a multiple offer situation. You never know. Okay, and C, double check to make sure that your buyer is in a multiple offer situation before you present the offer. So if you're presenting your buyer's offer to the seller in person, don't present it until the other buyer's agents show up. So that's if you're in person. If the other offers didn't materialize, then you must take that opportunity to consult with your buyer regarding restructuring your offer. So if you are expecting multiple offers, don't submit your offer right away. Wait until that time to see if other offers did come. And that way you don't have to put your strong offer right away. You can wait to see if other offers come. And then if another one does, then go up a little bit or improve your offer in any way. So we've got some negotiation tips as well that we're going to go through. And number one is understand your sellers. So find out what pressures the sellers have. So maybe they're doing a job transfer, maybe they're growing their family, a divorce, retirement. This will help strengthen your buyer's negotiation position. Now, keep in mind, a lot of the sellers' agents are representing their sellers, and a lot of the time they're not going to tell you exactly why their client is moving, because that could give away how motivated they are and how maybe desperate they are. So a lot of the time the listing agent will not give you those tips, but it doesn't hurt to ask. If you know that the sellers have lived in this house for a long time, ask the agent what type of buyer they're looking for. Are they looking for another family? Are they looking for an investor? Do they care? Because you may use this to your advantage on offer night if you know what type of client they're looking for. Have your clients prepare a personalized letter about themselves to stand out from the competition and give the sellers an idea of who's going to be moving into their home. But if you're the only offer on the home, do not use a letter, as this can work against your buyer. So if you're the only offer on the table and they know how much your clients love this property, it's going to show that they may love it enough to go up in price. So it only really works well in a multiple offer situation where you're competing against other buyers, and it kind of adds a little bit of a person behind the offer instead of just this piece of paper with some numbers on it. So typically what you're going to find, guys, is in the first-time homebuyer range, the sellers are usually a little bit more concerned about the price versus the type of buyers. These people have been in their houses for probably only a couple years. So really they just want as much money. So the letters don't really come into effect then. But if the sellers have lived in the house for a long time, they raised their family there, or the home has been in the family for a long time, maybe it's an estate sale and the kids are taking care of the transaction, typically these sellers do care about what type of buyers are moving in. A lot of the time they do prefer to have it a family in it versus an investor. Money usually does sell, but there has been times where the client does care what type of client they're getting. They want to make sure that their neighbors have a nice family moving in, and that's when the letter will come in. So really understand what your sellers are looking for, and it could help you guys in the end. Okay, be prepared. So it's all about the presentation of your offer. Know your market stats, talk to the neighbors that the listing is around, just to find out why they like living there. And also, if you're talking to the neighbors, a lot of the time they may know why the seller is moving. So that brings you back to the point one, why is the seller moving? And try to use that to help your buyers gain the property. Know all of your comparables in the area, the market stats, the house price index, assessed values. So the more facts that you have to back up your offer, the better. Practice your presentation as well with a partner before you do this live presentation. So don't just go running into an offer night, just throwing numbers out. Really know what you're talking about. This gains a lot of trust in the other agent to know that you know what you're talking about, and they have a little bit more trust in you and a little bit more trust in your clients. But also don't use those against them if you're going underball. Okay, tip number 3, don't give too much information about your buyers. So if your buyers have the ability to pay cash, for example, or they have high income careers, do not let the sellers know about this. They may hold firmer on the price if they know that your clients have more money. So if your clients have even been pre-approved for, say, $600,000 and they're going in on a $500,000 house, don't tell the seller's agent how much they were approved for, because then they're going to hold that against you and try to get more money out of your clients. So your job is to not only help your clients get the house, but also not give up too information. You want to represent them in the proper way. Number 4, have options. Tactfully let the sellers know that their house isn't the only property the buyers are considering. So buyers with options have a lot more negotiation power. However, don't bash the house you're putting an offer on while saying positives about the competition. A seller loves their house, and the reason you're at the negotiating table is because you like their house more than their competition. So there has been times where we will be sitting at the offer table and the buyer's agent will come in and say, well, Joe's house down the street is a lot nicer, it's more renovated, and it's cheaper. Or maybe it's a little bit more. But anyways, the more you talk about how much better another competition's house is versus yours, really will start to get to the seller's head, because sometimes the sellers really love their house and they picked those finishes that are in that house, or they chose not to update the house because they love the features inside of it. So try to stay on the seller's good side by telling them how much you love the house and not by talking about how great their competitors is versus theirs, because there is a reason that you're sitting at their negotiation table and not their competition. So by trying to bring their house down and bringing another house up, it's not going to work in your favor. I understand the idea of why people do it, but personally, as a listing agent, I don't care what the competition is. I'm here to sell this house, and you are sitting at my negotiation table. So let's talk about this house and why you want to get it. Tip number 5, register your offer as soon as possible. Now, this could go either way. So I know on offer night, it'll say register your offer by 5 p.m. and there's really no offers until, say, 4:59 or 5:01 p.m. So some people prefer to wait for their offer before they register it. I think that it's a really great idea to make sure that you register your offer as soon as possible. Don't wait, especially if you know you're going to put in an offer anyways. Spend that day of offer day building rapport with the other agent. And that way they're going to keep you in the loop with the other offers. So when you build a rapport with the listing agent, you're going to build trust, and they're going to want to work with you way more because they know how invested you are. They know how much your client wants it. They know you're working hard for your client, and they just gain a little bit more trust in you, and they may tell you a little bit more than if you were to register late and you didn't build that relationship the whole time. You can also register your offer after your showing. So even if you did the showing a week before the offer night, if you register it then, this shows the other side that you're serious and you want to be kept in the loop if anything happens in the meantime. But you have to note that registering your offer, if you don't have one on paper, is not allowed. So you do have to have an offer on paper in order to register it. But I always think registering your offer as soon as possible is always best. Negotiate in person. Now, I know we're in a different time where negotiating in person isn't very possible, but whenever you do get the opportunity to do it in person when possible. This is the best way to influence people when you're face to face. Be excited, be positive, confident when presenting your offer. Don't go in all nervous, quiet, or even too aggressive, because this could turn the sellers off and they're going to lose confidence in you. So the nicer you are, the better it is, the more positive you are. It just makes the offer night a little bit more of a good experience. It doesn't need to be this negative experience where you're all huffy puff and trying to be arrogant in person to tell them how strong you are. I think at the end of the day, we're all in this to make a buyer and a seller come to a mutual agreement. So the more excited and positive you are about it, the better it is to get the sellers on your side. Number 7, pass on compliments from the buyers. So by complimenting, this helps build trust between the parties just for a friendlier negotiation, which I was just talking about. So tell the buyer's story. Who are they? Why are they buying? Where are they coming from? Again, not giving up too many details about their financial status or anything that just shows that they're a little bit more desperate, but giving them something. So when you submit an offer, tell them about your clients. Tell them why they love this house in particular. Instead of just trying to justify the price based on all the things that need to be fixed or adding insults to the sellers, try to talk about why they love it. And even if they don't love it, maybe there's some wood paneling that they hate, but tell the clients how much they love it, because maybe the sellers really do love it and they want to hear that the person moving into their home is also going to love it as well. There is a bonus if you did if you wrote a letter to the sellers and you're in front of them. It's a bonus if you can read that client's letter out loud, word for word, slowly to the sellers, so that they can gain some sort of emotion from it. Another bonus is compliment the clients and their agent on all the efforts for preparing the home for the market, and compliment the agent in front of their clients. This also gives the sellers a little bit more confidence in their agent for helping them make a decision. Even if your offer may be a lower offer, maybe they liked you a little bit more, they like your clients more, and if the agent is suggesting going with your offer because they trust you a little bit more, then the sellers are going to trust their agent's decision and they may follow. So pass on lots of compliments about the home and everything that they did to prepare the house for the market. Number 8, focus on the seller's future plans. So maybe you're in an offer night and you guys are not quite at the price that the sellers have been hoping for. Focus on where the seller's going. So if you were getting to know the sellers from when you called the agent to ask them a little bit more about their clients, bring up where they're moving and how excited they must be. So if the other agent told you, they're retiring and they're moving out to Prince Edward Island, talk about that. Remind them why they're moving and remind them why they're selling, because maybe, again, you didn't hit that price, but if you're reminding them like, well, you're moving to PEI, like imagine that, and maybe you're $10,000 under what they want, in a few years when they're out in Prince Edward County, they're not going to be thinking about that $10,000 less on the sale of their home. So remind the sellers where they're going. Tip number 9, don't lose sight of the end result. So your goal is to help your buyers purchase the home, not to beat the seller. So a big tip, especially for newer agents, leave your ego at the door during negotiations. I know a lot of agents out there, they really play an aggressive game and they want to just be this angry, ego-driven person to try to like get their buyers this deal and be some sort of hero. And honestly, when I first started my career, I thought that's how you had to be. You had to be this strong negotiator. But to be honest, I like to work with the agents that are a lot nicer and they make the selling experience a little bit better. So just leave your egos at the door and just get the deal done for your clients. There's no need to be huffy puff chats. There's no need to be aggressive and angry and yelling at the sellers because they're not taking your offer. Like, the more you yell at the other side, the more you like come off aggressive, the more they're going to push back and be like, even if your offer is where they want, maybe they don't want to work with you. And then that's not going to work out for your clients when they lost a deal because you couldn't leave your ego at the door. So really, if you guys find that you're the type of negotiator that gets really heated up and angry at the other agent, try to take a step back and breathe and really just be nice and ask more questions and be smiley and say how excited your clients are. Like, this is a really exciting time for our clients in purchasing a home. So let's make this a really happy and great experience. And I promise you, you will probably do more deals in your career if you're just a nice person and people want to work with that. Okay, so that's a really big tip for you guys. Tip 10, give your best offer first. So starting with a low offer and negotiating to middle grounds is very risky. So if you're in multiple offer situation, you're going to be better off starting with your best offer just to keep the negotiations to a minimum. The sellers do not want to keep signing back and sending you back. They want to get this done. Time is of the essence in multiple offer situations. So the smaller the amount of negotiations, the better. I know you want to be a hero and get the lower price for your clients, but when competing with other offers, this doesn't quite work. A lot of the people want to get a deal and they're only going to offer because this is what they're comfortable paying. But you know what? A lower offer doesn't always win in multiple offer situations. So let your clients know this is about price. They can offer whatever they want. They're the boss. If they want to offer a lower price, great, but they may lose the house that they really want. So if you know that your clients can afford a little bit more and you know that that offer is very strong and could help them get the house, let them know that. Be like, I know that you don't want to spend $650 and you only want to spend $640, but it's only $10,000. And over the grand scheme of things, is it really worth it? So try to get your strongest offer in first when you're competing. Again, if you're not going to be competing offers, this is a whole other strategy, but right now we're talking about winning a multiple offer, so go in with your best efforts. And tip number 11, KISS. So keep it simple, salesperson. The fewer the conditions you include, the better chance your offer has of being accepted. So I think we all know that if you want to win in an offer situation, these are the last things it's going to come down to. So the lower conditions. So if you can get rid of the inspection, awesome. If you can get rid of that finance condition, amazing. So there's a lot of conditions. Some people will even accept a lower price that is a firm offer versus a higher price conditional because it's not really a very strong offer unless you're firm. So get rid of those conditions if possible. If you're really scared or your clients are very hesitant, which they should be because at the end of the day, you're trying to protect them. So you're also trying to get them a house. So we're going to protect them and we're going to get them the house. So by protecting them, one of the tips that you guys could do is get in contact with their mortgage broker and you guys talk. So talk it out, say, okay, like how strong are my clients? If we put in this offer, are you confident that we can go in firm? If not, then obviously you're going to have to listen to the mortgage broker. And a lot of the time they're not going to want to tell you to go in firm, but really do your best to try to get all of those conditions either dropped, or if you could take it from 5 days down to 2 days or even 1 day, then go that route as well. The other thing that you can do for an inspection, so if you have a week and they want that house inspection, what you can do is arrange with a home inspector to go see the house with your clients before the offer night and do the inspection so that your clients did the inspection, and then on offer night you can waive that one because they already did it. The risk again on this one is they might risk losing $500 or whatever it costs to get the home inspection. So they may risk losing that money, but it's going to make them stronger. And if they lose, then at least they tried. So try to do everything in your power to get them to have the strongest offer possible. Tip 12, look for common ground. So what can the buyers give up that doesn't really mean a lot to them, but it's important to the sellers? So closing date is a very important one. So there could be a potential that the sellers of that property have already purchased a home and they have a certain closing date on that house. So maybe you have first-time home buyers moving in that are a little bit more flexible on the closing date. So if the sellers are giving you a closing date that they prefer, try your best to really get them that closing date. And like we mentioned before, a lot of the time when you're going into multiple offer situations and you're in a hot market, your offer is going to be in favor of the seller, not the buyer. So if someone has a better closing date that fits the seller, that might beat a higher price than anything because sometimes they don't want to hold on to that property. So if it's a vacant property, sometimes the sellers want that house closed as soon as possible. So again, even if you have a lower price, but you have a quicker closing date, sometimes that works in the favor as well. So it's not always just the price, guys. Look at some common ground in the closing date. And 13, larger deposit is better. So we usually recommend about 5% of the purchase price. That's enough to cover the commissions. But this also shows the sellers that they're serious. So buyers are going to be less likely to walk away if problems arise, the higher the deposit is. I know there's been some certain situations even where the prices were the exact same, but the deposits were different, and they end up choosing the property or the buyer that has the offer with a higher deposit because they're less likely to walk away. So if your clients are asking you to put $10,000 on an $800,000 home, they're probably going to lose because someone that's buying an $800,000 house, typically $10,000 is really not that much to lose if they have to. But if you're putting down $40,000, that's a big chunk of money to step away from. So by having that larger deposit really shows that you're serious. A bonus with the deposit on an offer night is having the check in hand. So if you could get your buyers to go out to the bank and get a bank draft of the check and take a photo of it with your offer, or if you're doing it in person and you have the check with you, then this is a really great opportunity to show that we're serious. We've got the money here. I can get it deposited within the next however many hours. So having that deposit available and large is very good for your clients. And tip number 14, review the offer price last. So price is going to be the most sensitive issue when you're doing an offer. So try to work through the other conditions first, work through different clauses, the closing date, the deposit, and then come to the price. It's usually a lot of people will talk about the price first, but remind your buyers that it's not always about the price, but it's about the other stuff. So if you guys can agree on all those other things and then talk about the price, that'll really help you guys. Okay, so now we're going to talk about some discussion points that we have. So a lot of agents will ask us some questions, and I'm going to try my best to answer them. So discussion, how do you deal with clients' anxieties around the negotiation process? So 1, keep your clients' expectations low. Don't make any promises that you can't fulfill. So don't say things like, oh, like I'm sure they're going to accept your offer. Oh, this is a great offer. It's going to win. Don't kind of prepare them to lose more than anything. Help them guide through it, but don't make any promises to get their hopes up. Prepare them for counter offers and how this process works. So if the seller was going to counter offer, let them know that the ball is now in their court and there may be an opportunity for them to be a little bit more in charge. So that may help their anxiety a little bit, knowing that this is a situation that could also happen. Always deal with the counter offers in real time. Don't wait until tomorrow. So if your client's very high strung and has really high anxiety about all of this, if they get a sign back or if they're going to improve their offer, get it done quick. Don't wait until the next day, because by then the buyer's remorse may creep up in their heads and they may just decide to not do anything at all. So try to get everything done as quickly as possible so that they're not going to bed sleeping on it too much. Promise that you're going to keep them informed as soon as you hear back from the other side. So a lot of the time you'll submit the offer and then your clients are already like, hey, did you get an update? And you have to remind them that this could be a few hours of negotiating, and they're not going to tell you guys right away. So just tell them as soon as you hear anything, they will be the first people that you call with any updates. Communicate with them in confidence. Remain calm under pressure. So don't give off your energy. If you are getting all heated and angry at the other agent, don't communicate that with your clients, because they're going to get all angry and ego driven, and then it's going to ruin the whole deal. So you really have to be calm under pressure, communicate with confidence, and tell them exactly what they need to do and how they should react. Okay, always present the offer in person rather than phone or email. So again, if you have the opportunity to present in person rather than phone and email, always go that route. And know your local market stats. So the more that you know about the property, the stats, the house price index, all that stuff, the more that you're communicating that with your client, the better that they feel about negotiating a good price. So if they're worried, say there's a property that listed at $799, but you know that price is going to go for say $850, really tell them this in offers. Say, I know that this is the price, but this is where we should expect to pay, or maybe even pay a little bit more than that. So the more open you are about what's happening in the market, the better. Another point on this anxiety as well, try not to tell them every single thing that the listing agent is telling you. So if they're saying certain things, you're always going to be tempted to tell your clients what they said. And trust me, clients always remember every single little word that you tell them. So don't go telling them, oh yeah, like the agent said, I don't even know. You know what I'm talking about. Don't tell them every single thing that is going on between you and the listing agent. Try to keep everything as very low anxiety, very calm. And then everything you can take the stress on yourself and try to keep it a good experience for your clients. Okay, so why is it so important to present your offer to the sellers in person? So you should try to sell the other agent on accepting your offer. And your persuasion skills work a lot better when you're in person versus like a quick email. So it's very easy to misread an email and the tone of your voice versus when you're in person. We talked about this earlier. Be a nice agent. Don't puff your chest. Don't act like a bully. Leave your ego at the door. A seller's agent's in charge of the whole process. You are not in charge as the buyer's agent. And I know you want to get your clients a deal and you want to be this hero, but the reality is the sellers are in charge and they're the ones that are going to make the end decision. So if you're not easy to work with, this is going to be a turnoff to the agents and their clients. And this can also cause some sort of trust to be lost. And it's okay to be nice, okay? Again, they are the ones making the final decision, so you need to be nice. So like we talked about before, pass on a compliment from your buyers to warm up the negotiations. And don't rely on the ability of another agent to present your offer. So if you are submitting the offer, don't just give it to the listing agent to present. You present the offer. Tell them all the terms. Tell them the conditions. Tell them about your client. Compliment the home. Compliment the agent. There's a lot of great things that you could be doing in front of the sellers to really gain that trust that you are the clients that they want to work with. Okay, we talk about bully offers quite often, and what a bully offer is, it means that there's an offer night planned, but your clients want to get in before the offer night and avoid it all. So if you're going to submit a bully offer, you need to be a bully. So I know I just literally said do not be a bully, but if you're going to be submitting a bully offer, it needs to be an offer that is strong enough that the sellers do not want to wait for an offer night. What makes a strong bully offer, you say? Not only strong price. So don't give the sellers an asking price if they're holding an offer night. You have to be over asking. Otherwise, just wait for offer night. So do a little guesstimate of what you think the seller is going to be expecting on the offer night. Definitely not under asking. And if that's the case, wait until offer night. So it needs to be a strong price that you think that they're expecting that day, or even a little bit more, but pretty much what you think they're going to be expecting. And you are like, I'm just going to get it on paper now. Another thing could be a strong deposit in hand. So we talked about this, having a photo of a deposit in hand. That shows that you guys are really serious and you're ready to go. A firm offer. This is very important. When you're as a listing agent, it is not a good representation for your seller to accept a conditional offer before offer night. So don't waste the seller's time by submitting a conditional offer. It doesn't really make sense for a seller to accept a conditional offer before an offer night. So if they did conditional on financing, that deal could fall through on financing and they just kind of ruin the entire strategy of an offer night. So you could try, but don't be surprised if they reject it. And if they reject it, don't get mad at them. Just be nice and say, no problem. We'll see you on offer night. Don't try to say, I always love when the agents say, well, if you don't take this offer, I'm not coming on offer night, because 90% of the time those agents do come back and it's just a strategy. But don't puff your chest up. If you gave them a conditional offer, it's not a strong enough offer. And maybe for offer night, it's strong. Great. Same with price. If your price is not strong enough, the sellers may say, no, thank you yet. We want to wait for offer night. And you have to just accept it and continue on and submit your offer on offer night. So firm offer you need to do if you're doing a bully offer. If you're planning on submitting a conditional offer, use those days prior to the offer night by chatting with the mortgage brokers, do a pre-inspection, get the status certificate reviewed by a lawyer, do all the things that you would have done in the conditional period and do it before the offer night. Yes. And a quick irrevocable. So if your offer is too good to pass up, give it a quick irrevocable so that the other side has very little time to think and they have to act quick, and gives them too small of a window for another agent to come in. So if you're going to give a bully offer, don't give them 24 hours, because you know that agent's going to take your offer, especially if it's a decent one. They're going to take your offer and they're going to go try to get another offer from another agent. So you need to make it a small window so that they don't have the opportunity to call all of the agents and try to get another offer on. So you got to be really quick and you got to be bold. Okay, how do you know if your offer is winning? So there are some tips and tricks to know that how your offer is winning. So you know that the selling agent cannot tell you what the other offers entail, but they can tell you how many. But there are some tips on offer night to know if your offer is ahead. The list, like I mentioned, they can't tell you. But a good sign that your offer is seriously being considered is if the listing agent calls you and tells you something that you can improve on, and it doesn't have to do with price. So sometimes you may be the highest price right away, and usually it's a lot. But they may say, hey, do you think you can improve on your deposit? Can you add some more money? Can you change the closing date to this? Or maybe making a small change. Maybe they want to exclude the drape. So they're asking you to make these tiny little changes on the offer. And typically this means that they like your offer, but they don't want to sign back because they risk losing your offer if they sign back, and they risk it with the others. So they're going to tell you the little changes to make it a stronger offer. And if they are giving you these little hints, bring it back to your buyer and say, hey, they asked us to make these little tiny changes. They didn't ask us to change the price, but they did ask us to make these little changes. And a listing agent's not going to make you go do those changes and waste your time if they don't see your offer as a higher one. You're not going to go, if someone's way, way, way below the highest offer, the listing agent's not going to go tell them to make all these little changes to improve their offer if they're not going to win anyways. So it's a good sign that your offer is a strong offer and they may want to work with it. If the agent's not calling you or communicating with you throughout the negotiations, this could be a sign that they're probably working with another offer. Usually when I'm on the listing side, I'm pretty much in communication with the top offers more than I am with the offers that aren't winning. So if the agent's not calling with you or communicating with you, call them, build that report back and check in. Say, hey, I haven't talked to you in a little while. Is there something I can do to improve my offer? They may just say, hey, you're way behind, either come up a lot or we're not going to be working with your offer. But so if they're not calling you a lot, it could be because they're working with another offer. All right, so I hope those tips work for you guys. Feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions about them. But I also made some tips. So there's going to be some times when you're going to be negotiating with your own buyer client. So yes, your job is to get them a good deal, but sometimes your clients don't necessarily want to come to that price that they should come to. It might be $5,000, $10,000 that they're about to lose by. And so try to get them to that price. And there's going to be some negotiating that you're going to have to do with them to help them get to that jump in order to get the home. So this could be happening on offer night where you know that you're losing by only a little bit. Sometimes the listing agent may hint that there's a little price gap if you guys come up a little bit. But anyways, here's some tricks on to negotiate with your own buyer clients. So number one is called ball in the court. So assume that the house, this is what you're going to say to your client. Assume that the house is listed for fair market value, but the buyers want to start with a low offer. So what you would tell them is, my experience tells me that the house is worth what they're asking. I understand that you want to get the best price, but if you come in too low, you're going to risk offending the sellers. But if I can prove to you that the house is worth asking price, would you even consider it? If they say no, what is the most you're willing to offer? So let them know that the house is worth what it is and how to not offend the sellers. Number 2, convert it to pennies. So I know that you love the home and the location, but the only thing standing between you and the house is $6,000. Not that I don't think $6,000 is a lot of money, but let me show you what the difference means. If you added $6,000 to your mortgage, it's going to cost you about $36 a month or about $1 a day. So you're letting less than a cup of coffee a day stand between you and the perfect house. Pretty good one there. Number 3, identify lifestyle. Focus on lifestyle their brand new home has to offer. So great location, good schools, close to shopping, large backyard, all those things that were on their checklist. Bring to surface all of the positive things that they love about this house. Get them excited about the thought of moving. Then say, with everything this house has to offer, it only makes sense to do everything we can do to get this house. Don't you agree? And hopefully just by telling them about the little positives will help them come up in price a little bit. Number 4, meet them halfway. So there's only $6,000 standing between you and this perfect house. Would you even consider meeting the sellers halfway to bridge the gap? If you don't want to offer $349,000, which is the full list price, would you consider $346,000? If we do, I think that the offer will be much more appealing to the seller, and hopefully we can get you this home. What do you think? So again, that's like they're almost close to there, but not quite. But just trying to help them meet halfway with the others. Again, the end of the day, your job is to bring a buyer and a seller together and meet in an agreement. So you got to help your buyers there sometimes. And tip number 5, trade-offs. So if the buyers are not willing to budge on the price, then see if there's anything that they can concede to make the offer a little bit more attractive to the sellers. So will they waive certain conditions? Will you match the seller's closing date? What can you offer that would be of value to the seller? So these are all the different things that you can do to negotiate with your own clients in order to help them gain the property that they love. So that's all I have for today. Again, this was our Systems for Success training program, winning in multiple offers with your buyer clients. My name is Katelyn Fulton, and if you have any questions at all, please feel free to reach out to me at katelyn.fulton@century21.ca, or you can call the office at 416-298-8200. We'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.